Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
It's Thursday, February 23rd. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. Missouri's Attorney General is giving St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner until noon to resign or face an attempt to be removed from office. It's the latest in the fallout from a weekend crash that left a teenage athlete from Tennessee in critical condition. Gardner is also facing pressure from city officials, including St. Louis Board of Aldermen President Megan Green.
And so I am standing here as president of the board, willing to assist the circuit attorney in anything that she needs to ensure that we can get her office to a place where it is working effectively, efficiently, and can regain the trust of residents in our city.
Gardner has released a statement calling the weekend crash and developments leading up to it, quote, a tragedy for our community and our criminal justice system. The Board of Aldermen president is not the only high-profile elected official in the city distancing from Gardner. Mayor Tashara Jones says the circuit attorney has lost the trust of city residents. And that's where St. Louis Public Radio's Rachel Littman picks up the story.
Daniel Riley was out on bond in an armed robbery case when he blew through a stop sign last Saturday night in downtown. The resulting crash caused 17-year-old Janae Edmondson of Tennessee to have both her legs amputated. She was in town for a volleyball tournament. Investigation revealed that Riley had violated conditions of his GPS monitoring several times, but Gardner's office never filed a motion to revoke his bond. Jones says Gardner needs to do some, quote, serious soul-searching and decide whether she wants to remain the prosecutor.
I'll be totally honest with you. Missteps by the office have damaged the reputation of the city.
A measure pending in the Missouri Senate would allow the governor to appoint a special prosecutor in certain high-crime areas. Though Gardner is not specifically mentioned, the bill is widely viewed as targeting her. I'm Rachel Littman, St. Louis Public Radio.
And that ultimatum from Attorney General Andrew Bailey came last night. The Republican says if Gardner does not step down, he will provide evidence to a judge that Gardner is unlawfully holding the office because she has failed to do her job. The statement from the Circuit Attorney's office points a finger at the courts, saying judges have the sole authority to determine bond conditions. In other news, many state workers in Missouri are closer to a raise. The legislature has approved a supplemental budget bill that includes funding for pay increases. St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Kellogg reports.
Under the legislation, state workers would receive an 8.7% cost of living adjustment. Additionally, some workers in certain departments who work overnight or late-night shifts would earn an extra $2 an hour. Senators voted 29-4 to pass the bill. Since the Senate did not make any changes to the House version, it now goes to Governor Mike Parson. He's expected to sign it. Senator Rick Bratton voted against the bill. He said while he wants to pay people what they're worth, he's not in favor of expanding Missouri's government.
Have we bloated and gone out of control into where we have so many positions that we don't even know who or why we even have these positions?
The nearly $627 million supplemental budget also includes $20 million in school safety grants and $275 million for the Missouri State Emergency Management Agency. In Jefferson City, I'm Sarah Kellogg, St. Louis Public Radio.
And also out of Jefferson City, Missouri's pro sports teams are again supporting an effort to legalize sports betting. Team officials yesterday testified at a Senate committee hearing. Two bills authorize in-person and online betting, along with establishing districts where teams can have space for placing wagers. Senator Tony Luchtenmeyer is sponsoring one of the bills.
Legalized sports betting comes with natural challenges, so it is critical that we adopt a framework that provides strong regulations and oversight to protect consumers and also to benefit the state's educational system.
Luchtenmeyer's bill places a 10% tax on bets. Revenue would support education initiatives. The General Assembly would also have to appropriate at least $500,000 a year to a fund addressing compulsive gamblers. St. Louis County is launching an LGBTQ task force. County Executive Sam Page says it will advise him on how to protect the rights of gay and transgender people. It comes as the state legislature considers several bills targeting the transgender community. St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton reports.
State lawmakers are weighing a variety of bills, including one that would ban gender-affirming care for transgender children. Another would prohibit transgender kids from participating in sports teams that match their gender identity. Page will appoint the members of the task force, which will be made up of people from the LGBTQ community. Katie Erker-Lynch is the executive director of Promo, a Missouri LGBTQ rights organization. She says the 9-member task force's recommendations will be based on what bills pass this session.
There's always creative approaches that we can take to make sure that we can create spaces that are safe and affirming and inclusive.
Erker-Lynch says the creation of the group sends a message to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people that they're supported. I'm Sarah Fenton, St. Louis Public Radio.
Some of the items we are following in the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom. We are watching for further developments in the ultimatum from Missouri's Attorney General for St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner to resign or face an attempt to be removed from office. The mayor of St. Charles is holding a news conference today to announce a task force for Bangert Island. Dan Borgmeyer says the panel will help efforts to preserve the island and River Point development. The city and county have decided the city should control the area. Missouri officials will provide details on a lawsuit against the federal government's Waters of the United States rule. It calls on owners to ask for federal permission before using their property in ways that would impact some ponds, streams, and other wet areas. Attorney General Andrew Bailey and Governor Mike Parson will be at that news conference. And tonight is game number 2 for the reborn St. Louis Battlehawks. They will be in Seattle. The Battlehawks rallied over the weekend to win their XFL season opener in San Antonio. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music, as always, by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.